Welcome to the Dome Discussions Podcast. Your top source for all things New Orleans Saints. Powered by four voices who live and breathe black and gold. Touchdown! Every hit, every play.
Welcome to the NFL.
Every moment. We've got it covered.
Let's go! Let's go! Go!
What's going on, Who Dat Nation? Appreciate everybody tuning in to the Dome Discussions Podcast, part of Be in the Know Network. I'm Kyle Besson with Athlon Sports and Canal Street Chronicles.
I'm Nick Jennings with Canal Street Chronicles.
I'm Kaylee Acarino with Canal Street Chronicles.
I'm Drew Collings with Who Dat Dish.
All right, and we're back with episode 2. We've had a few audio problems in episode 1, but we're here to fix it. We're hoping to hit the ground running, but without further ado, it's been OTAs weeks. OTAs week 1 and now 2 have passed. We're entering the final week of OTAs. Nick, what has been your favorite story so far over the first 2 weeks of OTAs?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the one everyone's talking about, the hot topic around New Orleans right now, the quarterback battle. I've really been enjoying it. Spencer Rattler came to play. He's looked prepared. He had a whole offseason under his belt to get ready for this season. On the first week of OTAs, on the first day of media availability, went 8 for 8 with back-to-back darts to Chris Olave and a dig to Michael Jacobson. Kellen Moore said you should expect a natural jump in Rattler for his second year. And look, him and Tyler Shuck are rotating through 1s and 2s. Shuck also came to play on the first week, went 7 for 8 with a 50-yard completion to Rashid Shaheed, And then in the second week, Rattler still came to play, went 10 for 12 with a corner route to Jawan Johnson and another to Mason Tipton on a fade. And then Shuck also came to play. He really looked more comfortable in week 2. 2 big touchdowns on routes to Bub Means and Donovan Peoples-Jones. He looks like he's getting a feel for it, getting his feet under him a little bit. And look, I'm really excited to see how this plays out. Can't wait to see who's out there week 1.
100%. I mean, the whole reason we get to preseason, everybody's going to want to watch preseason. Preseason's going to be exciting. The number one thing we're going to be looking for is the quarterback competition going into it. But Caleb, what is your favorite talking point?
Yeah, my favorite talking point, it's hard to say favorite because it is injury, but I think it is really important to talk about. It's Jake Hayner's oblique injury. The timetable for that right now is him being out for the rest of OTAs. That battle with Hunter Deckers for the third spot on the roster was going to be very close, and I do think this will affect that battle. I still think Jake Haener has a chance. I'm not going to say he doesn't because Hunter Deckers is still a UDFA. He is liked by this coaching staff, but that's still an unknown. But availability is very important at this time, and I think the more available player is going to be the one who gets chosen, and Haener's injury is definitely going to affect that.
Yeah, and we talked about it on our first episode where I was proven wrong, I think not even 2 days later, by Kellen Moore, where I said, I think the idea here is you're going to have 3 quarterbacks, maybe 4 on the roster, but you're 100% bringing a veteran in. And Kellen Moore said, no, I think the coaching staff's the veterans that we need. The guys here, we have enough experience under our belt. I kind of do want to ask you a couple questions with it because you're talking about Jake Haener fighting for the third spot. Kellen Moore did say he's fighting for roster spot 1. I mean, I know how we all feel about it, but I mean, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I think going off of what Nick was saying, it's a 2-person battle in my opinion, and it's Rattler and Shuck. And I mean, as I said last week, I think it's going to be Shuck for a number of reasons. And even in practice, I didn't even talk about OTAs that much as a reason, but it's been such a close battle with Shuck having shining moments. I think he threw a pick, but he had those shining moments, those big plays. But also Rattler's been super consistent. So I really do think it's between them. I'm not going to say Jake Hayner's in that battle. I really think Jake Hayner's position on this roster is up for grabs for that third spot.
100%. I mean, I agree with you, but we do have to clarify Jake Haener is in the battle, but the injury is a big hit to that too. I think that's one point you said. The injury is a big hit. He is the veteran in the room in the sense he's the one most veteran there, 2 seasons under his belt. Rattler only has the 1, and the other 2 guys are rookies. So him being injured and just not going to be around for OTAs, and he possibly training camp, I believe, is his timetable. It's going to be a rough hit for him, and now he's got to kind of prove himself that he just deserves to be on the roster. But Drew,
he also took first team snaps as well before his injury.
You said he was or wasn't? I'm sorry.
He was taking first team
100. Yes,
snaps
this
before his
was a
injury.
three-person battle, and I think we'll see what that injury, where that brings him next. All right, but Drew, what has been your storyline for OTAs?
My storyline so far has been the development of Bub Means. He had a ton of flashes last year, but is really taking a big step forward so far. You mentioned Tyler Shuck's deep bomb to him. He's looked great to start. His route running has looked vastly improved from 2024. This is, I think, the first time in a Saints uniform where he's 100% healthy. He was battling injuries all throughout last year, so I think we're really going to see something from him this year.
100%. And the Saints need that big target. Bubs is 6'2", and he can catch over the middle of the field. That's what you need right now. Rashid Shaheed's not going to be your guy catching over the middle of the field. It's more of a smaller guy, and he's your bona fide deep threat. Chris Olave has nice route running, but he's had trouble catching over the middle field for the rest of his career, not for the most of his career, and we can see why. He missed a lot of last season for hits over the middle of the field. And Bub Means' development is almost needed at this point. I don't know who else you can have step up to be that spot.
Well, look,
And we
Kellen
were
Moore
signing a player.
he actually spoke on the wide receiver room strength this week, actually saying they have great energy and juice and are prioritizing speed and versatility. He did point to Cedric Wilson, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Bub Means as guys that are developmental, big over-the-middle threats. He had success with Cedric Wilson in Dallas, logged 500 snaps in the slot that season, had his best receiving season with over 600 receiving yards. If they can get the best out of Cedric Wilson in the slot, which is what he was supposed to come in and do last season, but just never came to fruition, then I think that could really help the offense because he's a veteran, he's been around, and like I said, he's had success under Kellen Moore.
You remember when Bub Means was drafted, the whole conversation that many Saints fans, Saints analysts were having was that the quarterback play at Pitt was not good. And he was showing out in games, having great plays with not great quarterback play. And that's something you kind of want for your young QBs because, as we know, with Rattler, there were bad times. And Bub Means was kind of his safety blanket at times. I know Jawan Johnson had those big plays also, and Foss Moreau did also, but that chemistry between Bub Means and Spencer Rattler happened very fast. And we talked about it last week with the practice videos with Tyler Shuck and some of the wide receivers. Bub Means was one of those wide receivers working with Tyler Shuck. So I think that's going to be very important. And as you said, with the big body receiver, he really brings something else to this offense. And as Kyle said, it's going to be very important for his development for this team because wide receiver can get very bad very quickly for this team. Rashid Shaheed is getting a bit older. Chris Olave has his fifth-year option and is going to be looking for a contract. Bub Means is going to be very important for the now and future of this team.
I love how he's building up the chemistry with both quarterbacks. No matter who's starting, I feel like he's going to be a pretty big option, especially if there is an injury in the room.
100%.
Seems like guys like him and Alontae Taylor have been much more vocal this offseason. I would not be surprised if Alontae Taylor was named a captain.
Yeah.
And maybe that's
Bub
another
Means, like,
talking point.
just emotionally, there is no one who wants to be out in the football field more. There's no one who's having a better time than Bub Means. You can look at all of his posts. He's always posting Instagram stories. He's happy to be there. He's showing out.
Yeah, and the early connection with Spencer Rattler, versus the Buccaneers, maybe that was another product of them working together. I mean, he seems like a guy that's just trying to put work in all the time. These connections don't build overnight. He's probably putting in work with every single quarterback, whoever texting everybody, you up, who's trying to go throw a ball right now. And I love to see it. Immediately when Shuck got drafted, a few days later, he's out there with them. I love to see it. The New Orleans would heal a lot if Bub Means is a great receiver. He would fill out a lot of these positions, a lot of our problems. But we got to mention he was injured rookie season, didn't get to see too much play afterwards. But a big sophomore season would be a benefit for us. All right, and for my talking point about it, I think is what I'm most excited to talk about is we kind of have some clarity on how they see the offensive line. Kelvin Banks took snaps at left tackle. Trevor Penning was left guard. Eric McCoy center. Right guard Cesar Ruiz. And then right tackle was Taliese Fuanga. For me, this is not exactly how I saw it coming. I'm okay with Penning taking the snaps in the guard spot. I see a little concern with moving your left tackle, your rookie left tackle, who did amazing and moving him spots. Now, while switching from left tackle to right tackle isn't a big culture shock and it's not that big of a deal, I can appreciate that they are doing the idea of getting your talent on the offensive line. They use all of their draft picks, every single one of the offensive linemen's high draft pick, either first or second round guy, and they're trying to make sure they can put all of them on the field. Trevor Penning in the guard is probably the biggest talking point of it, though. Trevor Penning struggled a lot. He was too slow. Trevor Penning was too slow with a lot of these guys, and to react to that. And now he's in the inside, where it goes a lot faster. A lot of people don't think about it that way, but the inside moves a lot faster than the outside. You got more movement, a lot more happening. So Trevor Penning taking snaps on the inside is going to definitely be something to watch. I was wondering what you guys think about that.
Yeah, Kellen Moore actually recently said that Trevor Penning has the physical ability to move into guard and that he's done a great job. He said a transition's never easy for anyone, but he's fully embraced it and he's doing well. Moore did emphasize what you were kind of pointing at earlier. He doesn't really care about left tackle and right tackle in this league. He says people make a bigger deal out of it than it really is. He said Taliese Fuaga simply said okay when he was told to move to the right side. So I like it. Get your 5 best offensive linemen on the field.
And for Fuaga, he played purely at right tackle in college. At Oregon State, for every year, he played right tackle. So, I mean, he should be able to translate from the left to the right pretty easily.
And this was my ideal offensive line. I mean, this was the perfect offensive line that I wanted. It was Kelvin Bakes, keep him at his college position. No need to change that. It shouldn't have happened with Fuaga last year. I know with Penning it was a little bit different, but that was such a risky move and could have gone very bad. So have that, then move Fuaga to what he already was good in at college, what he was drafted at. So put him there. He already has experience there. And then just try Penning at left guard. Why not? You didn't pick up the 5th-year option, so his future with the team's already in question. It's going to be a cheaper contract because it's a left guard, or because Penning's going to be a left guard, and he's going to be in a battle with a free agent you signed with Dylan Radins. That's perfectly fine. It's going to be definitely a test because you kind of have to have some fast twitch because it's very sudden with the defensive tackles and interior defensive linemen. But he has the strength to deal with it. We know Penning has the strength to deal with it. It's just going to be, will he have that development and will that work out? Because if that works out, this offensive line is going to look great going into the season. And it's honestly probably a strength of the team.
100%.
And like you mentioned, the signing of Dylan Radins, along with a lot of people are forgetting about Nick Saldivari, who was injured a lot last year, but he has the talent. I feel like they have the depth at left guard to try this out with Penning, so I like the move.
100%. And like Caleb was saying, I was going to mention so Cesar Ruiz was a center in college, but outside of that, everybody's playing their college position except for Penning, who has now moved on the inside. So we're not doing much of that, which we talked about, again, episode 1, where we said we like plugging guys in where they don't normally play. That's not happening here. Now we're actually putting guys in their college position where they have the most experience. You would hope you get the most production out of doing that now, because the only person who actually is, assuming he is the starter and he will make it to the season, would be Trevor Penning playing on the inside rather than on the outside.
And adding to that, I think it's really important that Moore went ahead and made this decision now. I don't think it would have been beneficial to play it out and just have these guys see all these positions and not get comfortable where they're going to be playing the whole season. As you know, Dennis Allen last year took him to the last day of practice to name a quarterback for the week. So it's really refreshing that Moore's making these decisions with the intent of it playing out.
And I love just the honesty. Like, it's not even that, because I feel like during this offseason, there's been more vague stuff, which is totally fine. But since OTAs, it's just been straight up. This is what's happening. This is what we're doing. We're not going to reveal everything, obviously, but here's all the information that we could give you. Have fun with it, which is so refreshing compared to the last regime.
And back on Kellen Moore, I mean, he has experience with this exact situation from last year with Mekhi Becton, which a lot of Saints fans wanted to go out and sign. Mekhi Becton did that similar move and revitalized his career and got a big contract with the Chargers. So, but that will wrap up our OTA spot. And now I think our favorite talking point here is we're going to be doing our trivia here. I had fun picking our trivia. I even had to go back in and watch the certain play that reminded me of this player. I will say I'm probably going to have to get into some more specifics with this guy, most likely. But the teams that I'm gonna name are all gonna be teams that he played game or appeared in games in. So he was on other teams, practice squads, whatever. But he didn't play any games for him. All right, it's only 3 teams here. He was drafted by the Bears. I'll give you the dates from 2016 to 2018. Was on the 49ers in 2020, and then played on the Saints from 2021 to 2022. All right, you can start talking, getting some guesses in, because this one's going to probably take a minute.
I think I know who it is, but I forget his name.
That was also something I figured would happen. Do you have a position? You want to throw a position out there?
Wide receiver.
Dante Pettis? No, wait, that's too early. He's on our team now. He did play for the Bears and the Niners, though.
Played for the Niners for quite a while.
Is it Kevin something?
Kevin White?
It is Kevin White, yeah. 7th
yeah.
overall pick by the...
Knew it. I knew it.
I was watching the Halloween
Good
game.
Lord, I know
recently.
exactly what play you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was just looking at it the other day.
Yep, I was watching the Halloween game over the weekend because that pick 6 by PJ Williams is always going to be like in my veins, man. I love that play so
PJ
much.
will always be a legend in my eyes.
Picked off Tom Brady on, was it a Monday? I don't remember what game. It was a prime time. It was Sunday night. It was a
I
Sunday
remember
night.
the Janoris Jenkins
think it
pick
was
6
Sunday
on
night.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, I'm glad we got a few pick 6s in a dome on Brady there. All right, but that is it with our trivia. You guys got it a lot quicker than I thought. Once he said Kevin, I was like, he knew what he was
I
talking
knew
about.
who it was. I just couldn't think of the last name.
All right, but now we can get into it. This is actually going to be my favorite talking point of today. I can't wait till I get to my spot. The schedule release came out. We know all the teams we're going to be playing, when we're playing them, what part of the season. So, Nick, what is your favorite game of the upcoming season?
Yeah, my favorite game is actually Week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals. Brandon Staley's defenses are 3-0 against Kyler Murray. And look, this is a huge test for New Orleans. They have had trouble in the past stopping mobile quarterbacks, receiving threat tight ends. If you remember Week 3 last year against the Eagles, Dallas Goedert had his way with the Saints defense. I think this is a big test. Brandon Staley's bringing in a whole new scheme. Everything's going to be different. And again, this is where we see how this culture really has changed. In Week 1, when Derek Carr signed with the Saints against the Tennessee Titans, you could see the building erupted. Obviously, we did not know what was to come with that situation, but it was rejuvenating, and I expect something similar.
And I love
Yeah, I
that
actually
it's a home game, too.
wrote about this game also because I really wanted to look at the different matchups, as you were talking about, and wide receiver cornerback is very fun because Marvin Harrison Jr. is obviously on the Cardinals, and it's probably going to be Kool-Aid versus Marvin Harrison Jr. And that's going to be a very fun matchup, but also a really big test. And I will say the depth at wide receiver is not the best on the Cardinals, so it might be a good starting point for that position group for the Saints. And it's also a test for the offensive line because the Cardinals have invested so much on the defensive line and are trying to get that to be the best part of their defense. So that's going to be a very big test for the tackles.
Yeah, the defensive line on paper is scary. Walter Nolan, Darius Robinson, all first-round picks in recent years. If they're out there,
And
peak,
Josh
they
Sweat,
can
I'm pretty
be
sure.
Josh Sweat, yeah, they added him. It's a dangerous group down there.
It's also going to be where we get to see our new pass rush, the 3-4 pass rush. Kyler Murray's going to put that to test. I mean, you always see the memes about Tyler Murray looks like a bad toddler running around, and the defensive line's going to have to deal with that. We've had, like you said, had problems taking down running quarterbacks. Quarterbacks have mostly had their way on the ground with us, and now we're going to get the test with our defensive ends chasing down 5'9", 5'11". I don't remember how tall Kyler Murray is. He's short. And chasing him
I still have
down.
nightmares about Tyson Bagent. Oh, my goodness.
I remember the Trevor Lawrence did it to us. Justin Herbert, someone who you don't think ran against us, they ran against us. All right, but Caleb, what is your favorite game on the upcoming season?
I've actually chosen this game for 3 years straight. It is the Rams, this time in week 9. I'll start 3 years ago. I thought this was going to be a great test for Dennis Allen. The issue was that the whole cornerback room was injured, and it really wasn't the best test. But going into last season, I thought this is going to be the best because obviously we didn't know what was going to happen with the Dennis Allen era, how bad it ended. But going in, we thought, oh, The offense is now going to be rejuvenated. The defense is always going to be good, which it wasn't. But that Rams game was going to be huge because just a good defense against Sean McVay's offense is the biggest test you could have because the Rams have destroyed us with their offense before. This year, I'm looking at it a little bit different where it's offense versus offense. I want to see how Kellen Moore's offense looks against Sean McVay's offense. And it's going to be a great comparison with young coaches, young offensive minds, and also the Rams really like Tyler Shuck. So I kind of want to see how, if he is starting at that point, how it's going to look.
Yeah, and we just talked about the cornerback room getting a test. Well, good luck with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. So that's going to be a test. Matthew Stafford at the quarterback. I mean, Matthew Stafford might just make the cornerbacks look bad on his own with his passing, and like you said, Devontae Adams. It's whew. All right. Finally, Drew, what is your favorite game for the upcoming season?
I have Week 7 against the Bears. The Bears, they obviously got Ben Johnson, invested heavily on the offense, got Luther Burden, they got Colston Loveland. They're going to be dynamic, and I'm really looking to see how this defense holds up to it. Caleb Williams is entering his second year. They still have a talented group. Going to be able to see, one, how does that new offense look for the Bears, and two, how does the Saints defense defend it?
And the Bears' defensive line will be a huge test for the Saints' offensive line. You've got Montez Sweat. You've got Grady Jarrett now. They're just a bunch of monsters over there. That's probably one of the fiercest pass rushing groups in the league.
We didn't even talk about the elephant in the room. Dennis Allen is their defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be like that's going to be Kellen Moore versus Dennis Allen. That is the revenge game.
Is this a home game?
Let me look. I have it pulled up.
I do remember.
Game. It's in Chicago.
Dennis Allen might
but
be.
I think it's I think it's not going to be cold. Or I think that might be the one cold game.
Or that might be a little bit before. That's October.
It's October.
Okay,
Gotcha.
so I mean it will start getting cold, but yeah, that's gonna. And I think the Bears were everyone's off-season winners. They invested in the offensive line, hired the best coach, defensive line, probably obviously one of the best available defensive coordinators. They are the off-season winners. The only issue is that in Bears history, that really hasn't mattered in recent years. So that's going to be very interesting to see. Just is it an organizational thing, which obviously that's hard to believe in a realistic way, but it's been shown so many times that they can't get over the hump sometimes. And so that's going to be very interesting to see.
It's actually pretty cool. Dennis Allen spoke with Jaquan Brisker this offseason, his new safety. The Saints were going to take Jaquan Brisker in the draft a couple years back, but he was a pick before. So it really makes you wonder what this safety room would look like now. Would they even have Justin Reed? They wanted to pair him with Tyrann Mathieu, Jaquan Brisker, and ultimately he's had some concussion issues with the Bears. But look, Dennis Allen might be able to get the best out of him.
All right, sorry about that, guys. Unfortunately, Drew's power went out, so he won't be joining us for this last part of it. But we're getting to the final topic, which is my favorite game. And I'm really excited to talk about this because I've been wanting to talk about this. I've been complaining about this to people for a while because my favorite game is Week 17 versus the Titans. Very random game, right? Late in the season versus a non-conference opponent. Really not a lot to care about it. And you're right. I'm not really focused on this game for the point of the Saints. I want to watch some Cam Ward, okay? Cam Ward went through the draft, first overall pick, and he was drafted, and then that was it for Cam Ward. You didn't hear about Cam Ward. It wasn't nothing. It was Shadur Sanders for the next 3 days. Cam Ward was passed over, everything, and I felt like that was very disrespectful, but whatever. Come around the schedule release, Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans don't have a primetime game. I can't tell you the exact last time this happened, but I can tell you it hasn't been since at least the early 2000s when that has happened, where a first overall quarterback is ignored and not given a primetime game. Cam Ward was awesome, electric in college. He's going to be a great player, and he has been disrespected over and over by the league. And you know what? I'm excited to watch some Cam Ward. But you know what makes it better? Now we get to see possibly Tyler Shuck versus Cam Ward, which makes it even more exciting. Our rookie quarterback versus the first overall pick. Obviously, I'd like our rookie quarterback to be better. You know what I'm saying? I would love to watch a Tyler Shuck and Cam Ward duel. And that's why I'm excited to watch this game. I think Cam Ward has been passed over, briefed over, like it doesn't matter. But he was the first overall pick as a quarterback. And That just makes me excited to watch this game. I like the Titans uniforms too, so really, I just wanted to get that off because I feel like Cam Ward has been disrespected a little too much, and I want to put in that I can't wait to watch him play.
Absolutely, and I think the league not giving the Saints, the Browns, and the Titans any primetime games insinuates that they're not exciting football teams to watch, and I just completely disagree. You have the three teams with the most talked about rookie quarterbacks, and you have teams like the Panthers with multiple. And look, I know a lot of people are high on the Panthers this season, but I'm not as high on it as a lot of people are, and I don't agree that they should have as many primetime games as they do. Same with the Falcons. I just don't see it. And I know those are division teams, but it's just what comes to mind. And look, I think that Shador Sanders will be starting for the Browns at one point in the season. And like you said, I think Cam Ward's going to be a great quarterback. So I don't agree with the fact that those two teams don't have any primetime games. I think it could be beneficial for the Saints because there won't be as many eyes on them in a rebuild year. Well, a rebuild year. But I definitely think I agree with you. I think Cam Ward will be a great quarterback in this league. I'm looking forward to seeing him play.
And that's gonna be. I mean, that's one of my favorite games of the season. I I can't wait for that game because, as you said, Tyler Shuck versus Cam Ward, and I was not high on Cam Ward during the season. I thought sure Sanders was better, and my mind completely changed throughout the process. Just really looking at it, I completely changed my mind, and I thought he was. People always said, obviously, bad quarterback class. That was the whole thing every time, bad quarterback class. But Cam Ward was a first overall pick. He deserved to be a first overall pick. This wasn't a quarterback tax. He deserved to. He wasn't the best quarterback in the class, or he was sorry. He wasn't the best player in the class. That's fine, but he was one of the. He was top 10, and he's. Yeah, the quarterback tax does play a little bit part there, but he has amazing character. He can extend plays and make amazing plays. He is very poised. It's just it I love that for the Titans. I also really like this matchup because these teams are in very similar positions. Maybe the Titans a year ahead, but Tyler Shuck changes it a little because the Saints just hired a coach. They might not have their quarterback. Their team is all over the place at certain parts, and they're looking to next year more. Analysts, fans are looking to next year more. That's what happened with the Titans with Will Levis last year. They had the new coach, offensive coach. They were ready, but they knew that season was not going to be good. Now look where they are. They have a lot more hope with a rookie quarterback and a roster that needs work but has a lot of potential. And that's going to be a very interesting point of the season because if the Saints somehow speed up and finish better than the Titans, then that's a really good spot going into next season.
100%. Like I think this is going to be a close matchup. I like to see the Shuck Ward battle, and there's going to be a lot of things to enjoy about this game. And I think at this point in the season, Saints fans will be able to enjoy it more, just because at this time we'll either be eliminated from the playoffs or contending for a playoff spot. So it's going to have ramifications no matter what, right? So exciting to watch just because now you don't care about anything other but except watching football. Or two, this is a big game for the Saints. So at the end of the season, being a Week 17 game, it could also end up being a big game for the Saints, pending where they're at. But 100%, I just felt like the Cam Ward disrespect has gone on for a little too long. It's been a long time since we've seen a first overall quarterback's team not even get a primetime game. Like I said, I can't even pinpoint it to you, but I have been trying my hardest to find the last time win, and it hasn't been for a long time. So,
And I remember when he was drafted, I mean, I think 5 seconds later, they started playing Shadur Sanders highlights and talking about Shadur Sanders, and it was just like Cam Ward just got drafted. This is a big moment, and it was bad. And then going to the game that I just thought about, this game could also be fighting for the first pick in the draft. If both teams are in horrible positions, and the Titans roster just so bad, but Cam Ward looks good, and they're fighting for a first pick. This could be just one of those weird late games where both teams kind of want to lose but not lose. So yeah.
I'm kind of curious. What is your guys' final record prediction for the Saints?
Yeah, I also have to look a little closer, but I'm thinking with kind of health looking a bit better than it has in recent years, which I'm going to give this new training staff a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Um, Health a little bit better. I'm thinking 7 wins just because of how their schedule looks. I hate strength schedule. I don't like it. It's not good to use as a marker. But the teams that they are playing, a lot of them are the outlook for this season isn't good. So I'm thinking 7 wins, some division because also division games can be weird and upset all the time. So I'm thinking 7 wins, but it could easily be 5. I don't think it's 4. I don't think it's under 5. But
Yeah, I have the Saints going 6-11, have them winning week 1 against the Cardinals, beating the Giants in week 5, splitting the series with the Panthers and the Falcons, and then finishing the season with wins against the Jets and the Titans. So that's probably where I got them. I don't think they'll be as bad as a lot of people think, but I also think there's a lot of work to do. The Saints aren't in a spot right now where they can really contend, in my opinion. Maybe in this week division, but not in my opinion. Yeah, I'd probably go with 6-11, right around the middle.
Yeah, and we'll definitely go deeper into this in another time, and we'll probably have a whole podcast revolved around it. I'll say, can you guys hear me better? You guys didn't tell me I was using the wrong microphone on the recording thing.
Did not know you were using the wrong microphone. Actually,
didn't
this one's
even
a little bit
notice.
lagging.
What's up?
The one that you're on now.
It's
The one you're on
lagging?
now is a little bit laggy. Yeah.
Hopefully it should be pulling up still here. I could switch back. I just want to make sure you guys.
Yeah, the other one was fine. It was good.
It was weird. Okay, that's because that's my webcam microphone. So I mean, if you guys prefer
Oh,
this
really?
one, yeah. If you guys prefer this one, we could go with that.
Probably just for this episode.
Well, the recording software is still getting my microphone, so hopefully it's not
Oh,
coming
it's
up.
still
like
getting
that.
that one. We're just hearing it different.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, then I would stick with that one because it's a little less laggy for us.
But to finish it off, it is now time to talk about just something that we kind of want to throw in there for a little bit. The Tush Push went unbanned. We don't have Drew here to talk with it for us, but I want to know how you guys feel. So, Nick, how do you feel about the Tush Push standing?
I like it. Kellen Moore was a big proponent in that throughout the offseason. He says he doesn't know if the Saints will actually implement it. He says obviously other teams have tried and not found the same success with it. It's a hard play to execute, and it takes a lot of teamwork. Everybody's got to be on the same page for it to work. He doesn't really see the injury concern. He says there wasn't much proof behind that. Just kind of seemed like the Packers couldn't stop it and put in a claim, and it was a little weak on my part, in my opinion. But I think eliminating the tush push would have opened a whole nother can of worms with the QB sneak and a bunch of other plays. I think the Saints have the personnel to do it. It's just a matter if they do.
Yeah, I'm looking at the rule itself. I agree. It was that the main argument was the injury concern, and then that there wasn't evidence yet, but there could be future evidence, which I get. But I think there needs to be some evidence first with the injuries. And then also, I do think it gets banned next year. Just because it is a good play, like it is a very good play, and there it is. I think alignment wise, it is against the rules in a weird way, but it isn't. That's like another argument. I just think it was so close this time that I could see it getting banned next time. For the Saints, I do see a way it could be implemented, but only if Taysom Hill is healthy. I don't think they're going to do this with Tyler Shuck. He is the perfect quarterback to do it with, but just he doesn't have injury concerns, but you just don't want to risk it. And with an offensive line still trying to learn positions, Calvin Makes is a rookie. Trevor Penning, if he's playing left guard, is still learning that position. I just don't trust it all the way right now, and I don't think the Saints should do it right now with a rookie quarterback. But Taysom Hill is basically a fullback. So I think that gives you a little bit of a different aspect, but also there's so many question marks with his injury. We don't even know if he's going to start the season healthy. So that's a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I think the Saints are going to run it. I think it's going to be a permanent play in the Saints playbook. I mean, come on, you got Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, come down here doing it. I don't see why the Saints don't run it, and I was 100% against banning it. Maybe a little biased because we did get Kellen Moore, but no one else has done it as good as the Eagles have. No one else has been able to replicate it as good as the Eagles have been able to do it. They are so successful with it, and other teams are mild at best. So in that sense alone, why would it get banned? It's not a play that's too difficult to stop. It's just a play that the Eagles are really good at, and they've been working and mastering it. And in my eyes, that's a reason to not ban it. It's not an impossible play. Just one team's really good at it, and once you start taking away one play that one team's really good at, when are you going to start taking other plays, you know what I'm saying here? It's an unfair ban to me. And to me, that's football. I mean, like right here, come on. My 11 right here, your 11 right here, straight into it. That's football. That's my football. That's football I grew up on. So I don't see banning it. I know injury concerns are a thing, but you really only started hearing that when Chris Jones got hurt his neck a little bit in the Super Bowl. But other than that, I don't see why it should be banned. I was here for it. It was a little closer than I thought it would be. I thought more teams would have been actually for it than they were. But it's not banned. I think we're going to run it. I think Tyler Shuck's going to be the QB to run it. 6'5". He's got the length. He's got everything to do, strength to get there. And the Saints' offensive line is also really strong, athletic guys. Really big athletes. I think the Saints could run it as well.
Yeah, and going back to Taysom Hill, Kellen Moore just said there's a possibility that he's back for training camp. He won't be around for OTAs, but for training camp, it's definitely a possibility. If you remember, he had a nasty injury from a hit from Kobe Durant last year's Rams game. Suffered some additional knee damage along. I don't remember if it was his MCL or his ACL, but that along with additional knee damage. So he had a long recovery this offseason, still at work. I'd expect him back by training camp just because that's the kind of guy Taysom is.
And going back to the tush push play real quick, the moment that I felt like it was going to get banned at some point was the Commanders playoff game where they were on the 1 yard line and it was penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty trying to stop it. That's when I was like, okay, they are physically trying to do everything they can to stop it. And I'm not saying that it should be, but I was just like, okay, teams are going to definitely look at this and be like, yeah, we can't do like that. This needs to be banned, which again, as you said, opens up a can of worms. But I think that was the moment that I was like, okay, I could actually see this getting banned.
100%. All right, but with that, I think we're wrapping up episode 2. Does anybody else have anything else to say before we close out today?
I think we're good. I'm looking forward to minicamp on the rise.
All right. Well, with that, appreciate everybody listening. Tune in next Monday for our next episode. I want to say we never made this announcement, so I'm gonna make this announcement now. Up until when the season ramps up, so preseason and everything like that, we are doing the one episode every Monday. Once preseason comes around, that's when we'll do Monday and Thursday. But with that being said, hope everybody enjoyed. Hope you guys tune in with us again on Monday, and see you guys later.